Welcome to Fit Chicks Chat, the podcast dedicated to fitness, nutrition, wellness, and mindset. For more information on Fit Chicks Academy and our upcoming fitness and nutrition expert certification, as well as our holistic nutrition weight loss coaching certifications, please visit fitchicksacademy.com. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fit Chicks Chat, the podcast dedicated to fitness, nutrition, wellness, and coaching. My name is Amanda Quinn. I'm one of the co-founders of Fit Chicks Academy, and I'm so happy to have you here today to be learning more about just what we're going to be talking about is the three core parts of a successful fitness and nutrition program. This is something that is so important, but oftentimes is missing from most programs. So today we're going to dive into this because this is not only a foundation of how we built our coaching business to a 7-figure business, including all these parts, but also this is the cornerstone of what we built our fitness and nutrition expert certification program on. It comes from the idea of every coach out there should truly have all of the parts. If we want to be a one-stop shop for our clients, if we want to be able to help people get long-term results, we need to focus on these three core parts of a program to help them stop struggling and have success. And so the three program parts that we're going to be talking about today is around fitness, nutrition, and wellness. So if you're someone on your health journey right now listening, or if you're an aspiring coach or you're a coach, this episode is for you because I'm going to break it all down. So let's do this. So let's talk about, first of all, the first part, which is fitness. Now, when it comes to fitness, most programs only focus on the workouts, right? Especially when you think about like when you hire a trainer, you go to a gym, you hire a trainer, what are they going to do? They're going to focus on the workout portion. But the problem is that, to have somebody go from like, let's just say someone is hiring a coach and they've never trained in their life. They've never worked out in their life. They're just starting out on their journey. To go from zero working out to then doing 5 days a week, 6 days a week in the gym, doing an hour or two. What happens to those clients is that they burn out. They burn out, they get overwhelmed, and they feel like this is something that is not really attainable for me. And so when we think about fitness, one of the core parts of any fitness program that we need to think about is we need to think about prioritizing strength training, incorporating functional movement, and ditching the all or nothing mindset. So that's what I was just talking about, that all or nothing mindset of like, you got to do it 5 days a week and you got to do this and you got to do that. Because when we do that to clients, we're really just overwhelming them and we're not setting them up for success. So let's break each of those things down. So the first thing is about prioritizing strength training. Strength training is the one component that is going to help build the muscle, boost your metabolism, change your body composition. Not just the number on the scale, it's about so much more than that. But strength training is what's going to give you and fast track your results, the results that your clients are looking for. So prioritizing strength training should be like a given for any fitness program that is out there. We should be focusing on strength training. Now, strength training can be body resistance training. It could be, lightweight training. It could be heavy training. It could be more reps and lower weight. It could be less reps, more weight. It depends on the goal of the client. It also depends on meeting your client where they're at, but prioritizing strength training as a part of a fitness program, it shouldn't just be a fitness program that is only focused on cardiovascular training or only focused on HIIT training. There should be more to that, especially if their goal is to build the muscle or to change their body composition or to help boost their metabolism and burn fat. Strength training has to be a priority. So that's the first part. The second part is incorporating functional movement. So this is one of the things, and I think this is becoming like a bigger trend right now, which I love, is the idea that functional movement is about how you move and feel daily, not just about what burns the most calories. So functional movements are the movements that you're doing on a day-to-day basis when you're picking up the groceries and you're walking in from the car, or you're taking the stairs, or you're bending over to pick something up that you dropped. It's learning how to move your body in functional ways. So there's so many different workout programs. There's a lot of like primal movement things and stuff like that that's out there that teach you how to basically just move your body in a way so that you have more mobility and you have more ability to be able to continue to like move your body in a way that allows for you to just move every day. It's not just about, I can do bench presses or I can do shoulder presses, but instead it's like, oh, I can actually get up from the ground without using my hands, right? I can fire up my muscles and my legs to be able to stand straight. Those are the kinds of things that we also need to be prioritizing in a fitness program. And then the last piece is the all or nothing mindset. Oftentimes with a fitness program, and again, going back to what I was saying at the beginning, when someone is hiring a coach, oftentimes they might just be starting out on their fitness journey. If they're starting out on their fitness journey, if we tell them to go to the gym 5 days a week and do an hour workout of strength training 5 days a week, they're going to feel really like that's daunting, like that's a lot. Instead, with our fitness programs, when we were running Fit Chicks bootcamp programs, it was only 2 times per week. And we gave clients outside of class workouts. We gave them movement-based stuff. We gave them some walking. We gave them some 20-minute mini workouts to do. We wanted to engage them and give them the opportunity to be able to do extra if they chose to. But the program itself started with just 2 days a week. And our classes sold out consistently. Do you know why? Because there was accountability, but there was also a recognition for 2 times a week might just be what we can do right now in our lives, right? Everyone has really busy lives. So then if we incorporate other things that don't feel as big and as daunting or as demanding, then we're really meeting our clients where they're at. And that's what we did. We had 2 one-hour classes per week. And then outside of that, we gave them like 3 different workouts to do that were like 20 minutes or less. So keeping that in mind when you're building a program is going to help your clients be more successful. When your clients are successful, you're doing your job. You're helping them actually transform their health and their life. You're giving them a plan that they can stick to for the long term. I also just want to remind us all that like fitness comes in different forms. A 20-minute walk is a workout. A 20-minute walk is better than no walk, right? It doesn't have to be perfect to count. It just has to be something towards their end goal. Every single day, if we do a small thing towards that end goal, that is going to give you results. One of the things that we believe in at Fit Chicks Academy, and we teach this even in our fitness and nutrition expert certification, is the idea that small shifts equal big results. And so we have to continuously move towards that bigger goal, small steps every single day towards the bigger thing, and we will eventually get there. But we have to keep consistent. And this is it's such an important aspect. So that was the first part. And the second part, though, that I want to talk about when it comes to building a really successful fitness program, whether it be for yourself or for your clients, is focusing on nutrition. Nutrition is the part where most people get really overwhelmed, right? Because, diet culture on social media, on media, everything else has taught us to restrict. They taught us to be obsessive. They taught us to make things complicated. They've taught us that we have to eliminate, get rid of, and it just feels really like either just really overwhelming or really daunting or really negative. But instead, true transformation actually happens when nutrition is balanced, when it's flexible, and when it's bio-individual. So what I mean by that is balance, meaning we're focused on macronutrients. Protein, fiber, fat. You've probably heard us talk about this a bajillion times on Fit Chicks Chat. We talk about it consistently. That is what we call the complete in 3 rule. Every single meal, every single snack should follow this rule. Protein, fiber, fat. That's it. It's not about elimination. It's about balance. If we focus on having those at every single meal, every single snack, it'll help us to balance our cravings, our blood sugar, our weight. All of those things will come into balance by creating a balanced plate. Now, the second thing that we need to focus on is flexible. We want to make sure that all foods fit, right? If you are eliminating foods, if you are restricting foods, I don't know if anybody here listening has ever done this where you'll say, that's it. I'm not eating carbs ever again, right? Back when like no carb craze was like such a huge thing. I remember saying that. I was like, that's it. I'm just going to cut out carbs completely. Guess what happened for the next week up until my cheat day? All I thought about was eating bread, right? That's it. That's all. I was like, I just want a sandwich. I just want a sandwich all day, every day. I was obsessed with the thought of it because when we tell ourselves we can't, we want, right? We desire what we can't have. And so instead, can we create a balanced opportunity and a flexible opportunity to include things that do not make you feel like you are restricting, but instead you are just creating a balance to it, right? It's not it's not an all or nothing. It's really just about giving these one or two things every once in a while so that you're having it still, so you don't have that restricted feeling, that negative feeling, or that obsessive feeling towards those foods. And then, of course, the last thing is bio-individual. What works for you might not work for me, right? We have to think about what we are eating on a day-to-day basis. It has to match who we are as people, our likes, our dislikes. It has to match our own, not only just tastes and flavors, but it also has to match what our goals are. Everything plays such an important role, but they have to be individualized, because if we are all trying to follow the same cookie cutter approach, that plan that you get, on some blog or something like that, it's a guideline, yes, but it's not going to be individualized enough to make it make sense for you. So you've got to figure out what works for you and make it make sense for you. I hired a coach once who tried to give me a cookie cutter plan. And the cookie cutter plan was I had to eat protein 6 times a day. And the protein that I had to eat was all meat-based. And I was like, I can't eat, personally, I don't like meat that much, and I didn't want to eat that. And I asked, can I have some alternatives in that place? And they said, no, you have to follow the plan if you want the goal, if you want the results. And me knowing what I know and having the education and background I have, I knew that that wasn't true. So I just made some changes to it myself, which completely eliminated the idea that, I was able to have a coach, or I needed a coach, I guess. But it really kind of was it was really sad, because in that moment, I remember thinking to myself, I have the resources to be able to make modifications to this, to not feel like I'm failing at this and make it make sense for me. But there's a lot of people that will hire coaches that are not individualizing their plans. And then the client actually feels like they're the one that is wrong. They are the one that is failing, when really it is actually the program and the coach that is failing you as their client if they're not making it individualized. So please make sure, as a coach, as an aspiring coach, that you are always thinking about the individual, not just about the plan. And so our golden rule, of course, is when it comes to nutrition, add more fiber. Please add more fiber to your diet. Fiber is so good. It is such a good food because it creates volume, it creates fullness, it helps with digestion, it helps with bloating, all of those things. Add more water. We all do not drink enough water, myself included. I try to drink 3 liters a day. I don't always hit that goal, but try your best. Add more water wherever you can. Add more protein. Protein is one of the key macronutrients that is out there that helps you stay satiated. It helps you stay full. It takes away cravings, and it helps to slow down digestion of blood sugars, right? So protein is something that every single person needs in your diet. So if you feel like, if you have a client or yourself, you're eating breakfast and you're having a bagel for breakfast, could we try to create a balanced complete in 3 rule and have a bagel with cheese and eggs and bacon, right? Or something along those lines, so that we're not having those crazy cravings or feeling starving or any of those things 20 minutes later. Now, the last thing is that I want to talk about today. So that was when it comes to nutrition. Okay. So definitely one of the biggest core components is fitness, and then nutrition. And then the last piece is wellness. This, by far, the wellness piece is one of the most overlooked pieces when it comes to fitness programs. Because wellness is, in my mind, I always think of wellness as the glue that sticks it all together, right? So you have fitness and you have nutrition, but then you have wellness that brings everything together. Because wellness is the thing that is happening on a day-to-day basis that's affecting yourself or your client's overall health and well-being. Clients can follow a plan perfectly. I can follow a plan perfectly, but if they're feeling super stressed out, or they're not sleeping, or they're dealing with emotional eating, or any of those things that is coming up on a day-to-day basis, they're, feeling really overworked, or they're feeling exhausted all the time, the program won't stick. We need to give them all of the pieces of the puzzle. We need to look at and match a program to a client's, not only to their fitness plan that they need, or the nutrition plan, but the wellness side is matching it to the person and to their life. right? If a client has stress management issues, if they've got like high cortisol, they might have more belly fat, they might have poor sleep, they might have a lot of cravings. If they're super stressed, we don't want to give them a program that's going to stress out their bodies and be like, you have to work out for an hour every single day. And then they got to try to stress to figure it out in their day-to-day life, right? We've got to figure out ways to make it sense, make it match who the person is in their day-to-day life, not just their needs or wants or desires, but also match them to their lifestyle. Also in wellness comes a big part of mindset coaching. Help your clients shifting from self-sabotage to self-trust, helping your clients shift from the idea of I'm doing a program to I am someone who is healthy and fit. These are all things that are so key when it comes to the wellness side that are just oftentimes overlooked. We hear people say in this industry, you need to make it a lifestyle. You need to make it a lifestyle. But I personally believe one of the biggest components and one of the most important things that a coach's job is not only to give the fitness and nutrition program, but to actually help your clients make that shift from this is something I'm doing to this is who I am. So when we can learn those steps and help our clients to be able to make that shift, that's when we have lifetime changes. That's when we have lifetime results. We really need to be thinking about these things. I remember I had a client once whose biggest breakthrough didn't come from food. It didn't come from movement. It came from when they actually started journaling their thoughts. It was their thoughts around how their body felt, how their body worked, their awareness. The awareness changed everything. And that's exactly what, and why we include the wellness component in our fitness and nutrition program. When we can help people shift their mindset, their internal, their external, when we can help them change all of those pieces, that's when we have lifetime success for a client. So whether you're just starting on your health journey, you're an aspiring coach, you are a coach, just remember this, without these three parts, fitness, nutrition, and wellness, you're only giving part of the solution. We need to have all of the pieces of the puzzle to make it make sense. And so that's why if you are ready to get certified, we do have our fitness and nutrition expert certification open for enrollment right now. It is our summer fast track program, which means you can work through the program as quickly as you would like. You start the moment you register and you just work through it. You have a success coach by your side, dedicated to supporting your plan and helping you graduate. You will be able to connect with your community. You'll be able to connect with our coaching team. You'll be able to connect with Laura and myself. We are there to support you every step of the way because we want more coaches out in the world with fitness, nutrition, and wellness with all parts, training clients and helping them understand that all parts are equal. All parts are important. We can't just give our clients one piece of the puzzle. So if you're ready to get certified, you can check it out, fitchicksacademy.com/F&E to learn more. And of course, thank you so much for listening today. I hope this was super helpful just to help you understand the things that is missing in most programs and what is actually needed to get your clients amazing results for life. We'll see you again next week on Fit Chicks Chat. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Fit Chicks Chat podcast. Want more healthy love? Visit www.fitchicks.com for amazing resources, free workouts, recipes, tips, and so much more to help you live your healthiest and fiercest life, inside and out.